Hey guys, I'm Glitter Valkyrie, and today we have the launch of the Mythic Heroes banner with Hel, and I will not be spending any orbs on this because we have a prince who cannot swim, and Hel's also a really bad mom, so I think that we will just redeem our free summon on this, and then we will get to the fun part. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, I think that we go colorless. Okay, smoke. Okay, we get a Klein. So let's back out, and we can move on to the fun part. So if you haven't seen any of my videos before, I'm a huge fan of Xander, and Summer Xander is my least merged one, so I'm going to try and get as many copies as I possibly can today. So I think that we'll go ahead and get started, and while we're doing that, I'm going to also answer some Q&A questions. Okay, one green. So we'll grab that one, and I think that we will snipe green with blue as my backup, just because I do love Corrin, and I would love some merges for her. Okay, we start with an Arthur. So let's back out. And as I do this, I think that we can get started with all of the questions that you guys sent me when I made my last video. And I want to thank everybody who contributed. I'm really sorry if I butcher your names. I'm really bad with pronouncing names, and I'm also not great at multitasking. So we're just going to see how this goes. But the first question on my list is from TheElBaino, and he was the person that started all of this, so thank you. And he asks who my favorite unit is to use and why. And I think that the answer to that would be Halloween La Rochelle, just because I waited for La Rochelle to have a really strong ult for a while, and she just has the best voice lines, and she's super powerful, and she also loves science, so yeah, I think that she's my absolute favorite to use. Probably with Sarah as a close second. Okay, 3-star. We get a Sheena. Okay, so I think that I can move on to the next question, and that is from Louis, and he asked, what is your current job, and would you ever consider voice acting as a career? Okay, so to answer the first part of the question, I work in healthcare, and I have a full-time job, so YouTube is really just something that I kind of do in my spare time as a hobby. And considering voice acting as a career, so I'm not sure if I could ever do that because I actually really dislike the sound of my own voice, and it's probably the hardest part of editing for me. So while I think it would be really fun to have to hear my voice over and over again, I'm not quite sure that I could do it. So I'm not sure if I really have a career in voice acting. All right, let's grab the screen. And let's do another question. MageKnightBlazer asks, where does the name Glitter Valkyrie come from? So I don't, oh my goodness. All right, we got the best little sister. Okay, why don't we check her IVs? And she is minus speed. But you know what? I only have one Elise, and she has terrible IVs, so we can merge out the Bane. That is perfect. All right, and I think we'll just keep sniping green. Okay, let's go colorless. All right, so to get back to the question from MageKnightBlazer, the name Glitter Valkyrie. So when I started my channel, I had no idea what to do for a name. So I just went with two things that I really like. The Valkyrie is my favorite class in Fire Emblem, and I just really like sparkly things. So that's how the name Glitter Valkyrie was born. I'm sorry, I don't really have a better story for that. Okay, smoke, please be Xander. Oh my goodness. Oh, we get Ocean. So, fun fact, I actually just finished Thracia, and he was one of my MVPs, and he's also minus attack. But you know what? I don't care. That is fantastic, and I think we can back out. Okay. So, for my next question, it comes from Green Boy. And he asks, what is your favorite original character from each chapter in Fae? Okay, I think from book 1, if Alphonse counts, I think I would go with Alphonse. And then from book 2, that was the Muspel one. So I would say Leg Yarn. She's the best big sister. And then from book 3, I didn't really like book 3, but I did like Air, so I would say Air. And for book 4, I like everybody so far. This chapter has just been perfect for me with all the fairies and rainbows, but if I had to pick just one, I think I'd say Peony. But thank you for the good question. At least we have 2 greens here. Okay, my next question on the list is from Sieglindes, and they ask, what is your favorite breakfast food? I think that I would have to say chocolate chip pancakes. Not anything super exciting, but it's basically dessert for breakfast, so it's never really a bad thing. Okay, we have Smoke. Yes!
I cannot swim!
Oh gosh, I'm so excited. So I'm actually looking for a plus speed Xander, but we'll check this one. And he is plus attack, and that's what I'm currently running, but I am super happy with that. So let's back out, and I think that we'll just do a little bit more. Really, I was just aiming for at least 1 Xander today, so this is already more than I could ever ask for. Okay, 3-star. We get a Merrick, all right. Okay, so I think that we can move on to the next question, and that is from Monado Max, and he asks, what are the kinds of games that you like to play outside of Fire Emblem? I think they're mostly Nintendo games that I really enjoy. I love Xenoblade. It's one of my favorite series. I'm also a huge fan of Zelda, and I also really like Pokemon. So I think that those are probably my top series right now outside of Fire Emblem, but Fire Emblem really is my favorite. And oh wow, that's a lot of blues. Let's go church bottom left. Okay, 3-star. We get a Thea. All right, so our next question comes from Sophia Marie, and she asked, who were some of your standout characters in FE4? So I absolutely loved FE4 just because of the characters. I was really attached to a lot of them. And I think in terms of gameplay, Sigurd, Aira, Larce, and Arthur were probably like my MVPs. But in terms of just characterization, Ethlyn was hands down my favorite, along with Sigurd. And then I also loved Finn and Lewin and Bridget and Tailtew. And then from the 2nd gen, I really liked Ares and Leaf and Nana. So I would say that those are probably my standouts, but I really loved most of the cast. All right, let's answer the next one. And that comes from Awesome Cat 300. And she asks, what do you feel was your most memorable summoning session? I think that the one that stands out for me the most, it wasn't necessarily my best one, but the Legendary Azura summoning session is the one that really sticks out to me, because I spent so many orbs on that banner, and I got pretty much every character except for Azura on that one. And looking back, it's really funny, so so that's really the one that sticks out to me. All right, Smoke. Please be Xander. Okay, Bowie. All right, let's grab the other one, and I can answer another question. And I'm super sorry if this is awkward. I'm kind of looking at 2 things at once, and I'm not a great multitasker, but it really is fun to answer all these questions from you guys, and it kind of gives me something to talk about, because sometimes when these run for a long time, I kind of run out of things to talk about. So my next question comes from Hector Murillo, and he asks, is Fae the only mobile game you play? So it's definitely my main mobile game, and I do play Dragalia Lost. I'm very, very casual in that game. And I did try to play Fate Grand Order. It really wasn't my cup of tea, but really Fae is the only one that I have an attachment to, and it's not really because it's a mobile game or a gacha. It's really just because I love Fire Emblem so much. So Yeah, really just Faye and Dragalia right now. Okay, another Raven. Let's grab the other one. Okay, 3-star. Alright, we get a Ross. So let's back out. And I think we're going to go below 100 orbs, but I'm really happy with how this has gone so far, so I am not going to complain. And I think that we can move on to our next question, which is from Alexis B. And she asks, which Fire Emblem do you consider to have the best soundtrack? That's actually an easy one. I would say that Fates is my all-time favorite. It just gave us so much variation with Nor and Hoshido, and all of the tracks were just beautiful, so that's really the one that sticks out to me the most. Okay, 3-star. We get Oboro. Okay. So the next question on my list was kind of asked by a bunch of people, and they asked who my favorite characters were from each game. So I'll just give a shout out to everybody that asked a similar question. It was from Exalt Moon, Martin Armando Barcellona, I Ship Ranulf X Ike, Leah.Pixel, and Michele Murazzi. So I'm just going to pick a male and a female from each game, and I think we can kind of do it that way. So I think that we'll start with Shadow Dragon, and I think that for female, Sheeta is my hands down favorite, and for the male, I'd have to say Camus. I really liked Camus. And then I didn't play Shadow Dragon, so I'm going to have to skip that. But for Echoes, I have a really boring answer. I love Almond Salka. So yeah, that would be my answer for Echoes. And for Genealogy, I would have to say Ethlyn and Sigurd. I just love them. Oh! Oh my goodness. We got Garrick. All right. That's an amazing poll. And he is plus HP. Wonderful. So we'll favorite him, and I think maybe we'll just do a couple of more and maybe stop with like 50 orbs remaining. Just because we have a banner in like a weekend, it might be something great. Okay, so back to the question. For Genealogy, I said Ethlyn and Sigurd. But then for Thracia, I think that I'd have to say Finn and Merida. That game really gave me a new appreciation for Finn. I already loved him from Genealogy, but he's just such a good guy, and I really love his character, so I'd have to say Finn. And Merida was just super OP, and I love her interactions with Abel, so I think I'd have to say those two. Oh! Okay, we got another Elise. Let's check this one. And she is also minus attack, but I love her anyway, so we will favorite her. And let's back out. And I think that we'll just do a couple more. Okay, so we covered Thracia, and then it would be FE6, and that one's easy for me. Klein and Lilina, those are my two absolute favorites. Okay, Est. And then for FE7, I think that Sarah's the easy one, and it's probably a tie for the males between Hector and Urk. And then for Sacred Stones, this one's so obvious. Larshel and Ephraim are my hands-down favorites. And if we're moving on to Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn, I know it's a lot of the same cast, but I think that for Path of Radiance, I'd probably say Alencia and maybe Ranulf. I do love Ranulf. And for Radiant Dawn, I'd say Micaiah and Grayson. All right, we get an Arthur. And then after that, we have Awakening, and it's another pretty generic answer. I love Crom and Lucina. And for Fates, I'd actually say Xander and Elise. They are my all-time favorites. And I guess we only have 3 houses left, and they're also pretty easy answers for me because I love Claude and I love Marianne, so I think that that's who I would say. And there are also a ton of characters that I love outside of those, but those are definitely the ones that stick out to me the most. So we have like 50 orbs left, and I am honestly so happy with how this went. So I think that it's wise to stop here and just see where the next banner takes us. So I want to thank everybody who submitted questions for this Q&A, and if you liked this, I can do this in another summoning session. If not, that's totally fine too, but I figured for this one we could do something a little bit different. So if you are pulling on the legendary or mythic banner, I wish you the best of luck. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.